children of God through faith. Galatians 3 verse 26 says, "For you are all children of God through faith in Christ Jesus." It's one short verse, yet it holds a life-changing truth. Many people search for identity in their careers, family names, or achievements. But Paul reminds us that our true identity is not earned, it's received. Faith, not effort, is what makes us part of God's family. This verse speaks directly to hearts that feel unseen or unworthy. It tells us we belong, not because we've done enough, but because Jesus did. Faith becomes the doorway into God's household, and once we step in, we are no longer strangers or outsiders. Our identity through faith. When Paul wrote to the Galatians, he was addressing confusion in the early church. Some believers thought they still needed to follow old religious laws to be accepted by God. But Paul made it clear, salvation and belonging are not based on rule-keeping. They come by faith alone in Christ. Faith changes our status. It doesn't make us better, it makes us new. In Christ, we go from being slaves to sin to being sons and daughters of God. Romans 8 verse 15 says, "You did not receive the spirit of bondage again to fear, but you received the spirit of adoption." That adoption gives us access to God's presence and His promises. Think about what that means. You're not just someone God tolerates, you're someone He chose. Your family. You belong in His household. That's what faith does. It brings us close to the heart of God. Living as God's children. Being called a child of God is more than a title. It's a way of life. Just as children reflect their parents, we are meant to reflect our Father's nature, His kindness, grace, and truth. That's how the world recognizes His family. But let's be honest, it's not always easy. We still wrestle with doubt, fear, and the need to prove ourselves. Sometimes we act like servants instead of sons. But faith invites us to rest. It tells us, you don't have to earn love. You already have it. Living in that truth changes how we treat others. Galatians 3 verse 28 continues this thought. "There is neither Jew nor Greek, slave nor free, male nor female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus." Our identity in Christ levels every barrier. No one stands higher or lower in God's family. Faith unites. It reminds us that grace, not background or behavior, defines who we are. That means the person sitting next to you at church, the neighbor you struggle with, even the one who hurt you, they're loved by the same God. Practical faith in daily life. Faith isn't just something you hold in your heart, it's something you live. It shows up in small moments, when you trust God with your finances, forgive when it's hard, or pray when you're afraid. When life feels uncertain, remember this. Your place in God's family doesn't change. The Father doesn't disown His children because they stumble. He walks with them through every season. Philippians 1 verse 6 says, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion." That's a promise to every believer. So when you question your worth, look at the cross. That's where God proved your value. When you feel unqualified, remember, faith is the only qualification that matters. Galatians 3 verse 26 reminds us of something powerful. Our identity is secure, not because we hold on to God, but because He holds on to us. You are a child of God, not by tradition, status, or effort, but by faith in Christ. Hold on to that truth today. Let it shape your thoughts, your words, and how you see yourself. You don't have to strive for belonging. You already belong.